Friends from the press, good afternoon. Welcome to the press conference of the Foreign Ministry. Now I will take your questions. CCTV. It's reported that the 29th Conference of the Parties of Climate Change held in Baku agreed on the new collective quantified goal. How does China view the results of the meeting, and what's China's role in the implementation of the outcomes? On November 24th, the 29th Conference of the Parties on Climate Change was concluded in Baku, the capital city of Azerbaijan. After 2 weeks of hard negotiations, parties reached a consensus on a new collective quantified goal, Article 6 of Implementation Guidelines of the Paris Agreement and other issues. The outcomes of the meeting reflect the principle of common but differentiated responsibilities and represent the global effort and aspiration of dealing with climate change. The Chinese government attaches great importance to COP29. President Xi Jinping's special representative, member of the Standing Committee of the Political Bureau of the CPC Central Committee, and the Vice Premier of the State Council Ding Xuexiang attended and addressed the World Leaders Climate Action Summit during his attendance at COP29. Vice Premier Ding Xuexiang also attended events hosted by China, including the high-level meeting on early warnings for climate resilient future, the launch conference of the International Zero Carbon Island Cooperation Initiative. The Chinese delegation actively championed Xi Jinping's thought on ecological civilization, presented China's achievements in climate actions, participated in consultations on all topics in a comprehensive and in-depth manner, contributed constructively plans for negotiations on key issues, promoted all sides to expand common ground while resolving differences, and made important contributions to reach the outcomes of the meeting. The new collective quantified goal reached at COP29 requires developed country parties to take the lead in providing and mobilizing at least $300 billion per year by 2035 for developing country parties for climate change. It is a continuation of the commitment of mobilizing $100 billion per year made by developed countries in 2009. The COP29 meeting also called on all actors to work together to enable the scaling up of financing to developing country parties for climate change from all sources to at least $1.3 trillion per year by 2035. Climate finance is crucial to supporting developing countries' climate response. China calls on developed countries to earnestly fulfill their obligations and responsibilities of providing funding support to developing countries to boost global climate actions. China will continue to enhance South-South cooperation and provide as much help and support as we can for the climate response effort of fellow developing countries. Next one.
From Reuters.
路透社提问：您能否提供一鹏号最新的情况？那么这艘船是自愿停在那里，还是被拘留了呢？
了解呢，
As far as I know, China is maintaining smooth communication with all parties concerned through diplomatic channels. On the specifics of the Chinese vessel, I have no more information to provide. Please consult the competent authorities of China.
韩国广播公司的金消息，根据
According to China's criminal law, the detained ROK national on grounds of anti-espionage national must accept a trial within this year. But as far as I know, this case has gone back to the investigation period of the procuratorate. So what's the reason for the re-investigation, and what's the progress of the case? I'm not familiar with the situation you mentioned on the specifics of the investigation of the case. I would refer you to the competent authorities.
下一个问题。
Next one, please.
谢谢。日本交流电视台上周五，中国发表了。
Last week, China announced a unilateral visa-free policy to Japan, but previously China's position is that it asks for a mutual facilitation policy. So what's the reason for the change of China's stance?
The Chinese government always attaches high importance to the facilitation of cross-border exchanges. We hope that Japan can work towards the same direction and jointly improve bilateral travel.
Mahdi Faraj from Rudao Media Network. Iraq is an important economic and trade partner for China. Israel.
伊拉克是中国重要的经贸伙伴，而以色列威胁要对伊拉克发动袭击，中方是否认为这会损害中国在伊利益？那么中方是否会通过联合国安理会或其他的外交渠道来采取防止伊拉克被袭？
China always opposes infringement upon other countries' sovereignty and security and opposes arbitrary use of force. As tensions in the Middle East are running high, relevant parties need to avoid further increase in the overall security risks in the region. The recent series of incidents once again highlights the urgency of realizing a ceasefire. The international community, major countries with influence in particular, need to play a constructive role and create the necessary conditions for cooling down the situation in the region. China will continue to leverage its influence and contribute to keeping the region peaceful and stable. Next one, please.
A spokesman for Afghanistan's foreign ministry posted on X today about an apparent meeting between top Taliban.
今天一位阿富汗方面官员在社交平台上表示，双方举行了一系列的会谈。
是了解一下再答。
I'd get back to you after I know some information from my colleague. Next one, please. Shenzhen TV. From November 18th to 20th, the Global Financial Leaders Investment Summit was successfully held in Hong Kong. The annual forum of the International Financial Forum was also held for the first time in Hong Kong from November 22nd to 23rd. The two important meetings had the participation of senior financial officials as well as heads of financial institutions from a good number of countries and regions and received widespread attention. What's Foreign Minister's comment? We congratulate Hong Kong on successfully hosting these two important meetings in international finance, which represents a vote of confidence from the international community for Hong Kong's status as an international financial center, its business environment and development outlook. Facts prove that with the safeguards of one country, two systems, the strong support of the nation and concerted efforts of all sectors, Hong Kong will maintain lasting prosperity and stability, and it will better leverage its role as an international financial center. China welcomes companies and talents from across the world, invest to business and tap full potential in Hong Kong. They will surely benefit from Hong Kong's development and one country, two systems. Next one, please.
Administration is set to unveil new export restrictions on China as soon as next week, the US Chamber of Commerce said on Thursday. Does the Foreign Ministry have any comment on this? Thank you.
中方一贯坚
China firmly opposes the U.S. overstretch of the concept of security and arbitrary use of the export restrictions to curb China. Such behavior seriously violates market economy laws and fair competition, damages international fair competition, and disrupts the stability of industrial supply chains. It will finally undermine all countries' interests. China will take firm action to firmly safeguard legitimate lawful rights and interests of Chinese companies. Next one, please. It's reported that on November 24th, Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Andrew Rudenko told TASS in an interview that we see that Washington, in violation of the One China principle, is strengthening military political contacts with Taipei under the slogan of maintaining the status quo and increasing arms supplies. The goal of such obvious U.S. interference in the region's affairs is to provoke China and generate a crisis in Asia to suit its own selfish interests, was China's comment. We noted relevant reports. The One China principle is a prevailing international consensus and a basic norm governing international relations. China highly commends Russia's just position of staying committed to One China principle and opposing the attempt of using Taiwan to contain China. Next one, please.
According to
法新社，据日本媒体报道，美国和日本正在进一步就未来台湾可能发生的紧急事件进行协调。这可能涉及到台湾还有菲律宾地区的形势，你对此有何评论？
Taiwan is an inevitable part of China's territory. Taiwan question is China's domestic affair. We need to pursue one China principle to maintain cross-strait peace and stability. China opposes relevant countries to strengthening military deployment and provoke intentions by using Taiwan question. Next one, please.
Lithuania's incoming prime minister said he's open.
彭博社，立陶宛的后任总体称希望改善对华关系。可能会恢复两国互派大使。但是并不会采取不计代价的方式，不会重新考虑对台政策。你对此评论？
的有关表。
We noted the statement from Lithuania. It's all note that the wrong behavior of Lithuania on Taiwan-related questions is the fundamental reason causing the difficulties between the bilateral relationship. China's dialogue, the door for dialogue is always open, and we hope Lithuania can go back to the right road of pursuing the one China principle, abide by the political commitments of the communiques of diplomatic relations, and accumulate conditions for the normalization of our bilateral relations. Next one, please.
关于刚才那个朝日电视台的那个提问，我追问一下。
A follow-up. Has China asked Japan to provide visa-free policy?
能和中方
We mentioned that we hope Japanese side can walk towards the same direction with China and jointly improve the facilitation of the bilateral travel.
下一个问题。
Next one, please.
Taiwan's
法新社台湾所谓国防部长说，台方侦查到了一个来自大陆的气球，这是自4月以后首次出现此类报道。你对此有何评论？能否证实？
没有什么国
First, there's no so-called defense ministry in Taiwan, and this is not a question about diplomatic affairs. Next one, please.
记者提问。
Global Times is reported that
It is reported that candidate for the Broad Front in Uruguay has won the second round of votes, and the candidate of the ruling National Party conceded a defeat. Do you have any comment? We express congratulations for the smooth and successful presidential election in Uruguay and congratulate Mr. Orsi in his election. China attaches high importance to growing ties with Uruguay and stands ready to work with Uruguay to strengthen our mutual political trust, deepen cooperation and exchanges in various fields, have closer communication and coordination in international and regional affairs, and work for the sustained and in-depth development of our comprehensive strategic partnership to the benefit of our peoples.
下一个问题。
Next one, please. Any other questions? Well, that will conclude today's press conference. Thank you for coming.